And so, discovering who you are, discovering your purpose, discovering who you are, attracts the resources, the wealth, to be able to accomplish that thing. Because wealth is not given you just to be showing off, showing your cars, and then for the guys, carrying girls in town, around town, buying beer for people, and then then they'll be calling you names and giving you titles. That's what people think is wealth. Far from it. Most wealthy people are quiet. You don't even know that they have anything. The real wealth. And then it's also transgeneration. It's something, it's not a flash in the pan kind of thing. Money just comes, and then all of a sudden I can buy new shoes, wear new clothes, build big house, and start riding cars. And that's what people call wealth. Wealth is who you are. And that's why you find so many people, they have money. Lots of it, they stumbled into wealth, but they haven't changed. Their values are rotten. Their character is bad. Even that enjoyment of so-called wealth is not there because they haven't grown who they are. So make a note of that. Wealth is not what you have. Wealth is who you are. And that gives you a very key insight in pursuing wealth. So pursuing wealth, the worst thing you can do is to run after money. And then there's so many people who are running after money. They are just running after this little piece of paper that they call money. And then they get tired because you can never catch money, no matter how much you chase money. So there are people who are 50-something, like myself, or 60 years or 70, they've never caught money because they've been chasing money. So the stupidest thing you want to do in your life, is to chase money. Because you will never catch money. Nobody who ever chased money caught money. But the sure way to create wealth is to build yourself. It's personal growth, personal development. You are where you are today because of what you know, who you know, your level of understanding. Dangote or Elumelu or the people some of us look to, they are where they are because they have access to information, to data, to knowledge that you don't have at the stage you are. So it turns out that wealth is information, wealth is energy. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, financial problems are never about money. A lot of people think that money, putting more money into your life, giving you more money, will not solve your financial problems. It sounds strange, but when I worked with Shell and Chevron, it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money coming in at the end of every month. The money was so much that my official vehicle at that time, not now, I was paid just for fuel 65,000 naira. This was 2007. The dollar was about 100, just like 120 or something at the time. So that was a lot of money just for your fuel, just to give you a little idea. But yet, I had financial difficulties. It's because what happens is, the more your money grows, the more your problem actually grows. And if you don't have the financial intelligence to manage it, no amount of money can be enough for you. Therefore, financial problems are not money problems, they are mind problems. So anytime you have financial difficulties, you can't pay your bills, can't pay your school fees, you can't afford hospital, what do they call it, card, admission card, something. Don't go and tell people, oh, I have financial problem. Tell them I have mental problem. Because poverty is a mental problem. So in my first book, I discussed how the key difference between the rich people and poor people is the way they think. So it's a mental problem, mind issue. Financial crisis, poverty is a mind problem. You are poor because of the way you think. The rich is rich because of the way they think. Now, when you give a poor or money comes his way, they get a bonus, or maybe he makes a sudden sale, or he goes somewhere or she goes somewhere and the money comes into his or her hand. What's the first thing a poor person thinks about when money comes into his hand? Anybody? They want what? To flex the money. That's one. They want to flex the money. Then after they finish flexing it, okay. All right. So once money comes into a poor person's hand, first thing he thinks about, what am I going to buy with it? Phone. Oh, I want to change my phone. I want new shoes. Oh, that hair I've been wanting to make, I can finally go make that hair. So consumption. And then that money dies. And meanwhile, when God puts money into your hand, every amount of money that comes into your hand has two parts. Okay, like I explained in my book, Financial Freedom for Every Youth. I actually have those two books here. That's another thing we're going to talk about, because I discovered that in this part of the world, people spend more on their stomachs than they spend on their mind. And I've already told you that the money is here. And one of the most shocking scriptures is Proverbs 17:16. So in one translation it says, of what use is money in the hands of a fool, seeing that his heart abhors knowledge? Of what use is money in the hands of a fool, seeing that his heart abhors knowledge? Which means that the primary purpose of money is what? Is what? Is here. The number one purpose of money is here. Because if you develop here, this will produce more for you. But if you put it inside here, it just takes 24 hours. By the time you go to toilet, that's the end of that money. And so money, every amount of money that comes into your hand has two parts. So the first part is the bread for the eater, like in Isaiah. Say God gives bread to the eater and seed to the sower. But what does the poor person do? He blows up everything like it is bread. So he eats up the bread and eats up the seed as well. And then wonders why his or her poverty is perpetual. Number 3, poverty is not the absence of resources. Poverty is not the lack of resources. Poverty is the lack of resourcefulness. They're two different things. Now, here in Ebonyi State, you are called, I heard you are called the third poorest state in the country. Are we lacking in resources in Ebonyi State? The minerals, the solid minerals in this state, the solid minerals we have in this state is more than the solid minerals that we have in many countries in Europe combined. They don't even have any. Go to Switzerland, Netherlands, Belgium, all those people. If you put them together, the minerals, the solid minerals you have here, are more than what you have in many countries in the Europe. So it's not lack of resources. We have resources. We have resources. Poverty is a lack of resourcefulness. Now, what is resourcefulness? When God created the earth, He made trees. He didn't make chair for you or make a table. It is resourcefulness that takes these trees and turns them into a table. When God made the earth, He didn't make the plastic chairs that you're sitting on. He put the oil in the ground And through resourcefulness, you bring it, take it through the fractional distillation that you call it or something, and then separate it to the components that you can use to make that. It's resourcefulness. So raw materials plus resourcefulness equals wealth. We don't lack in raw materials. Now, it even gets more amazing. George Washington Carver, I don't know how many of you have read the story, asked God for the secret of the universe, and God showed him peanut, groundnut, from just one material, groundnut. This man developed 300 products from groundnut. This groundnut, do we have groundnut in Abakaliki? One person took it, added resourcefulness to it, created more than 300 products. And you can read it up online, the different things that groundnuts produce. So since he did that, groundnuts have produced tens of billions of dollars. So poverty is not the lack of resources. It is a lack of resourcefulness. It's how creative are you? How innovative are you? Business is basically a process of innovativeness, a process of resourcefulness. So it's how resourceful you are that can allow you to take raw materials, add value to them, and then be able to sell it. Okay? Now, poverty is not the lack of resources. Do we have bitter leaf here? Do you have bitter leaf in Ebony State? Lots of it. Lots of it. Now, you go to the market, you find these women who cultivated bitter leaf, they cut them, and then if you go to the market with 50 naira, you can buy bitter leaf. Then, when you, through a process of resourcefulness and entrepreneurship, take this bitter leaf and make a mouth-watering bitter leaf soup through your resourcefulness. You know, some women's bitter leaf soup are better than some other women's, and you know that. That difference is resourcefulness. I know some men cook better than women. In fact, many places in the world, whenever there is a cooking competition, it's mostly won by men. Anybody notice that? So men actually cook a lot much better than women, and I cook better than many of the girls there. You need to eat my egusi soup. I'm telling you. She doesn't believe me. You need to eat my egusi soup. Now, it's resourcefulness that allows someone to take that bitter leaf from that woman in its raw form and create an amazing, delicious pot of soup that she sells for 4,500 naira a plate in Lagos. 4,500 naira per plate. In some places, 7,000. I used to buy 4,500 naira. Then, with the inflation, they said last time I went there, I was shocked. By the time they gave me my whatever, ordering the same thing, bitter leaf soup and then some swallow, they were coming back with like 8 or 9,000 naira sort of thing. Because somebody has taken that bitter leaf, added resourcefulness, added innovation, served it in a beautiful place that's well cleaned with beautiful lights, well-dressed people, air conditioning, and then she's able to charge 8,000 naira. Now, the woman in Ebonyi State is making 15 naira on the same bitter leaf soup. That other woman in Lagos is making 8,000 naira, 9,000 naira off the same bitter leaf. So poverty is not the lack of resources, it's the lack of resourcefulness. Now, how do you journey where you are right now to those dreams that you talked about at the beginning? And that's the question. So I could tell you a little bit of my story, and that could hopefully inspire. Never you walk out of this place anymore thinking that your poverty is caused by somebody else. Oh, the governor is an emperor. He doesn't distribute money. He doesn't allow people. Who told you? Who told you that somebody else is responsible for where you are? Oh, Nigeria, it's such a bad place, there's terrorism, there's whatever. But in the same Nigeria, other people are doing extremely well. In Afghanistan, in Sudan, at the peak of their problems, people were still doing well. So, and I have a client in Sierra Leone. They have a bakery business, and they have some other manufacturing businesses. They make nails, in Sierra Leone, in Freetown. And then they told me during the war, that terrible war in Sierra Leone, very horrible war, where they were cutting off people's limbs and things like that. The business was doing extremely well. The business was doing throughout the war. So he said to me that they will load up bread and go to this side. We will open the barricade for them to go, the soldiers, because the people had to eat. So they let them there. They finish selling, they go to the enemy side. They will open the road for them. They were selling to all the people warring, and nobody touched them. They were even protecting them during war. So we don't have excuse. And you know another reason that you don't have an excuse? This thing you're carrying here, the governor, the politicians, the local government chairman, and all that, they don't control it. Except when you give them control over your brain, because that's what I see that many people in this part of the world have done. The only thing that happens there is politics and civil service. That's what I've noticed. It's politics. Everybody politics, honorable this, honorable that. And when there is whatever, everybody is now, okay, give me honorable this phone number. I just want to be in his good books. So when he goes to Abuja, there might be something. Give me everybody honorable this, honorable that. We are not using the most important resource. When my son he spoke too early. He spoke too early. He was about 2 years and 8 months at the time. And that was a time that my family was in Port Harcourt because I was working with Shell at the time. So one day he fell ill. His temperature was rising. He was really very ill. And so this baby that used to be very, very active, you could tell that he was actually suffering. So we took him to Shell Clinic. And in Shell Clinic, our doctor was not the type that liked prescribing medicine. He always would tell you, give you some alternatives than giving the baby medicine. But this time it became so bad that he prescribed the ultimate, because he prescribed quinine for a baby who was not even up to 3 years old. And then the reason was, he said that the malaria was threatening to become cerebral. And if that happened, it was going to be very, very bad. So this child had to drink this quinine. It was bad. Okay. But then one thing the doctor didn't know was that it's one thing to take the horse to the stream, like they say, but it's another thing to make the horse to drink. So it's one thing to prescribe quinine for a 2.5-year-old, but it's a different thing to make that baby to drink the quinine. We tried everything, the mother and myself, we tried everything to make him drink this quinine. Has anybody here taken quinine? Anybody drunk quinine? Has anybody taken quinine? Extremely bitter. One of the bitterest things that God made. And that's what, And so, this boy who doesn't even like taking ordinary medicine, how much more quinine? But he had to take it because the malaria was bad. For over 30 minutes. Oh, D, take it. It's nice. We tried everything. And then he used to suck. He used to suck his 2 fingers. He would just be sucking and looking at us. And then because the boy was sick, you can't him or coerce it. So we're using all that. So the mother begged and begged in his mouth. I begged and begged. I tried doing all kinds of acrobatics to make him happy. He refused. So, for more than 30 minutes to 40 minutes and all that. So we now went to him. So I now went to him. I said, Deacon, you know I'm your daddy. You know I'll never give you anything that will hurt you. But I need you to drink this medicine. Because when you do, you will become strong again, and then you can play your ball around the way you've always been doing. So just drink it, and I can do anything for you. Anything you want me to do for you, I will do for you. I just want you to drink this medicine. He kept on sucking his fingers. So I paused, and I went again, and I said, I will do anything for you. Just tell me, drink this medicine. I will do anything for you. This little boy brought his finger out of his mouth, slowly pointed to that medicine. He said, drink this medicine. Since you say you can do anything for me, oh yeah, drink it. We were shocked. I was shocked the way he came, because we never expected that kind of from a 2.5-year-old. You know? So I didn't, because it's solemn matter, so I didn't want to laugh in his presence so that he doesn't look. So I ran out of the room and laughed and laughed and laughed somewhere, and then came back. Now, of course, we had to make him drink that medicine. But the question is, I could drink that medicine for him. I'm his father. I love him. But if I drank the medicine for him, would it have taken away his malaria? So that's what a lot of us sit down, waiting for somebody to drink the medicine for us. For Obi, for Tiku, for Tinubu, for Mahi, for all these people. You think that these people will drink the medicine for you. And then when your situation doesn't change, you start blaming that they didn't drink the medicine for you. So in life, you've got to drink your own medicine. And when it comes to wealth creation, you've got to take ownership of that dream, that vision that you discuss. You've got to take ownership to make it happen. Because no one is going to make it happen for you. No one is coming to save you. That's one of the finest things you need to write down. No one is coming to save you. Nobody is coming to save you. You've got to use this brain that God has given you. Okay, so how do you go from here to that place that we started with? There are 12 fundamentals of money. Okay? By the way, I'm currently running the 3 Days of Abundance Challenge. You can connect with me on the different social media handles. All of them have basically my name at Ogbo Awoke. Is anybody here actually connected with me on Facebook, on my page? A couple of you, all right. So it's Ogbo Awoke Ogbo, at Ogbo Awoke Ogbo, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Because we don't have time to be able to teach you everything. But during the 3 Days of Abundance Challenge, which is like basically a free service I'm giving to, because I don't do 5,000 naira. I don't do 5,000 naira programs. I don't in my life. Okay. My clients are like MTN, Florida Wave, Chikase, Cutis PLC, and all these other people, and then plus international clients. I don't do that. But the reason I'm here is the same reason I'm running that challenge, that abundance challenge, for people. For people to just make it easy for them to access some of this information. So I'll be talking about the 12 fundamentals of money, but I'll just mention one or two with the time that we have here. One is, money is an effect, not a cause. C-A-U-S-E. Money is an effect. It is not a cause. The implication of this fundamental is huge. Because if you understand it, like I said earlier, then you don't chase money. I do not chase money. God forbid. That's insult. That's a horrible use of my time. I do not chase money. Now, money is the effect of something. So if money is the effect and not a cause, what is the cause? So you need to know what causes money, what triggers money. And if you're a wise person, then you will focus on what costs money instead of the effects. Do you feel me? You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of people are running after the effects. I'm trying to think about an example of cause and effect. Let's say you come into this room, into this hall at midnight, and it's pitch dark. Everything is dark inside here. And then you come into this room. And then as you're walking into there, you say, oh, where is light? Oh, light, oh, wait, light, come. Where is light? Oh, there's darkness all over this whole place. Where is light? Where is light? What would a normal human... That's why I told that poverty is a mental problem. Because that's how a lot of people are looking for money. What would a rational human being, a wise person do? You come in here and then it's dark. What causes light? You turn on the switch. So, but a lot of people are here, they are complaining, they are running around looking for light, but they have not done what causes light to come, turning on the switch. So, the question is, so what turns on the switch to money in your life? What turns on the switch to wealth in your life? That's the most important question that you need to write down and then answer. What turns on wealth? What turns on money creation in your life? Because if you can answer that question, whenever you need money, what do? You turn on that switch. Now, there's a reason money is called the medium of exchange in our basic economics. That's what it was called. It's a medium. It's called a legal tender. It is the medium. Money itself is not value. Money is a representation of value. It's a medium. It's not even a representation. It's a medium to pass value from one person to the other. Therefore, so let me ask you from what I've just explained, what's the cost of money? Yep. So there must be value. And that's the problem with people blocking the road and collecting 100 naira, 200 naira from Okada. That's the problem with somebody going online and scamming people to make money. That's the problem with people stealing or receiving bribe, because there was actually no value attached to that thing you are doing. Now, it's not just enough having the value. That value must be communicated and exchanged. Because you might have value, if nobody knows about it, then there's going to be no transaction. Therefore, for you as business owners, or even for employees to make money, certain things must happen. Certain things must be true. So number one, there must be an audience. So there are 4 things that must be true before you can make money. So number one, there must be an audience. Who is your audience? The audience is who you are creating value for, whose problem that you are solving, and the person considers that problem big enough, profound enough to give you money to solve it for them. It's exactly the same thing whether you are an employee or you are a business owner. Because as an employee, you're providing value. This time it's just that you're doing it for one person. That is your employer. But for people like me, we provide value to many. That's what tends to give me more money than you, an employee, because you're just providing value for one person and you are trading your skills and then your time for what your employer considers value to them. So the first question to start with, if you want to create wealth, is who is my audience? who are the people that I'm here to serve? Who am I here to help? Okay? The second thing that must be true before you can create wealth is having found who it is that you are there to help, you must understand the problem that the person willing to have somebody pay you money for. Because many businesses are solving the wrong problem. Many businesses are solving the wrong problem. Okay? I teach as an adjunct lecturer in Lagos Business School. I also teach in China Europe International Business School. And then there's this popular story in business schools, MBA classes, where I ask the MBA students, like Ray Kroc, who was the founder of McDonald's, used to ask MBA students in Harvard in those days. He will ask them, okay, how many of you know at least you've heard about McDonald's? Okay, McDonald's. Okay. So he would go to the class and then ask them, what business am I in? And then all of them will say, oh, burger, you're in the burger business, you're flipping burgers and things like that. And then he'll usually enjoy that, he'll just smile and say no, he wasn't really in the business of making burgers. Because one of the things that you need to think through as a business owner is what's the business behind the business. There's usually like a business behind the business, like a spiritual mission behind the business. In other words, you didn't just set up school because you want to make money. If that's the reason you set up your school or you set up your business, that's a poor reason. Because at some point, that reason is going to expire, and it wouldn't be like provide enough diesel to move you forward. And so Ray Kroc will laugh and said, no, I'm actually in the business of real estate. He was in the business of real estate. And then there was a reason, because the way the McDonald's franchise was crafted was such that McDonald's owned the real estate. So it was into some kind of land banking. So there was land, but it was banking on the land, turning the land that you have into asset. So you must understand the problem that customer, that prospect is dealing with at a very, very fundamental core level. Okay. Then the next thing is you must have an offer. The difference between product and offer, lots of people sell product instead of. So the difference between products and offers is when you have a product and you find a way of using that product to solve the customer's biggest problem, that's when you can use an offer, because that's your product you can find because you're focused on solving a specific problem. Then you can add other things to that product. You can add even services to that product. Let me think about an example. What business are you in? Teach. Okay. So let's say that you have a mother who is very busy, and she's actually very, very busy, that she wants to prepare her child for the Loyola exams, for instance, just Loyola exams or some kind of entrance exams. Now, the product is lesson. You do lessons. That's a product. But then the offer is, you can say something like, I know moms are busy and you close late and come back home at 6 o'clock. So for this child, so by the time you come back, it's already late to start making dinner for the children. So for your child and your children that we are teaching, preparing for these exams, we will not only teach them, we will also cook dinner for the children. That's an offer. And then because it's an offer, if the lesson fee was 10,000 naira, you can actually add another 15,000 naira now, because that offer has not just a lesson, but you're also relieving that woman of the time and the headache of going to do shopping in the international market, coming back to cook her food. That's what you call offer. And then offers command more, than that. So you must have an offer that solves that person's problem. So there are people I'm currently coaching, and I'm coaching them on how to turn their annual income into a monthly income. That's possible, because income is not necessarily a function of time. It's a function of the shift in your mind, how you do things. And processes are just, there's a law, I think they call it Parkinson's law, and it says that the way Elon Musk put it, he said, if you give yourself 30 days to clean your house, it will take 30 days. If you give yourself 3 hours to clean your house, it will also take 3 hours. So all that money you've been making in 1 year is because you gave yourself 1 year to make it. And people are doing the income that you made in the past 10 years, some people are doing it in 1 day. And it's happened to me. What Shell used to pay me like in 1 year, I made in 1 deal, in 1 weekend. So during yesterday's session, I gave them a question on how to discover what you call the profound problem. So profound problem that the customer has is the problem that he's willing to pay you any amount to solve for him or for her. And these are the kinds of problems that you build your business. Because remember, we said that money is effect. They pay you for the value that you're providing for them. So would you like me to give you that question? These people are paying 356,000 naira for this question that I'm going to give you. Okay? So, and then of course, if you're connected with me on Facebook, you will see it because I posted it on Facebook and also posted it on LinkedIn. Okay? So that question is, what problem do you have now that if I solved it for you for free, you will immediately send 1 million naira to my account in gratitude? That's one way to discover exactly what problems to solve for the market, for your people. What problem do you have right now? What problem are you dealing with right now that if I solved it for you for free, in gratitude, you immediately transfer 1 million naira to me without my asking? You're so excited, so grateful that I solved this particular problem that you decided, oh, give me money. And this has actually, it happens to me often. Though it's not necessarily 1 million naira. Okay, but people many times just they said, okay, we've sent 10,000 naira to recharge your phone, we've sent 5,000 naira to recharge your phone, we've done, especially my phone. People just do that. And they do it sometimes because they just read a comment. They read a material, something I posted online. And it so helped them that they feel, oh, we'll be very ungrateful if we don't say thank you, sir. So a lot of people do that, to me all the time. And then that's a sign that you've actually solved the problem that people are actually willing to pay you money for. When you can discover that as an entrepreneur, then you've discovered gold. What is that problem that people are willing to pay you to solve for them? And then you create an offer there. The next thing is, you now have to create a message to sell this offer. There must be a message to sell this offer because people don't know about it. Okay? And that's why you craft a sales copy. Anybody here doing copywriting? Okay? That's why you do copywriting. To craft the message to sell the offer, because the offer wouldn't necessarily sell itself. And then the number 5 thing is a traffic. You've got to define the way you are going to make people, when they hear the message, you've got to decide a way to make the people to come to this offer, to take advantage of it. When you do that, there's no other formula. There's no other formula for making money. Whether you're working for someone or you're creating a business of your own, there must be an audience. There must be a profound problem you're solving for the audience. There must be an offer that solves that problem. There must be a sales message that sells the offer. And then there must be a means of generating traffic to drive people that you're looking for. So that, I could go on and on, but I think I want to stop here and just use the remaining time. If you have any questions that I can take, I'll be able to do that. But don't forget that wealth is not what you have. What is wealth? Wealth is who you are. That's wealth. And therefore, you don't begin, wealth is not something you pursue outside of you. Wealth is an inside job. You can never earn 10 million naira from 100,000 naira vision. It's impossible. So you must grow to be the kind of person that can create $1 million before you can do that. So wealth is not what you have, it's who you are. Therefore, the pursuit of is personal development. This is where, what I'm going to say next, is where I lose many people in Nigeria. If you go to a poor people's neighborhood, poor people's neighborhood, they are living in shacks, in huts, mud houses. What is number one thing you see sticking on the top of the roof of all of them? Television antennas. So I can't imagine how somebody who hasn't acquired wealth, who is not already living his purpose or her purpose or the vision that you just told me about, I cannot fathom how the person takes money and buys a television and puts in the house. Watching Nollywood, watching all these things. Entertainment is destroying Nigerians. Even when you go on social media, it's entertainment, comedy, short clips, pranks. That's what people spend their time on. Laughing. If they say Basket Mouth is coming here, and who are all these other funny people? That they are coming here to do something in Ebonyi State, and that ticket is 30,000 naira. You will be shocked that the people here who say they have no money, the place will be filled up. But look at this one. I'm sure you advertised it. Look at this place. Did they pay to be here? It's even free. And that's why I hate free things. I don't do free things anymore. When I left Shell, and I started with free. And so I did it for a long time, for months. I will even invite people, buy canopy, rent chairs, feed them, give them snacks and things like that, and teach them. These people kept coming. They kept coming because it was free. And usually people like where there's food. Sure, there's food today. Poor people like food, I'm telling you. So these people will come, I will teach and teach my heart out. Then I give them something to eat, usually snacks, and then some drinks. They will drink the snacks, eat, and then go back. I'll call them another time. And I was on television, so lots of people used to come. Then one day, after the content, I poured out my heart, plus materials and worksheets that I gave them. Normally, at the end of it, I'll ask them to give me feedback. And so, one of the feedbacks that one of them brought back to me was, I read it. She said, "Oh, sir, today's session was amazing. But please, next time, include menu. This was free." See the way she shouted, can you imagine? This was free. She said next time include menu, menu, menu. And you're saying, can you imagine? I hear that even here, that the government pays the youth to come for events. At least I heard it in one of the states in the southeast, because the government invited me to come and talk to the youth. And truly, I was shocked. So, hundreds, or if not more than 1,000 of them came, much bigger room than this. And true, when I finished speaking to them, they actually lined up and there was a Ghana must go back, and then somebody from the government was giving them money. They said, if you don't give them money, they won't come. How won't you remain poor if you're that kind of person? How won't you remember? You deserve it. You deserve it. If you must be paid to come to develop your mind, you deserve poverty. And so, nothing changed. And then my first man, this was a guy in Angola, I was telling him the frustrations I was going through, trying to help these people. They're not even, I don't even see any change. And then particularly, this particular word that I said, next time, please include many. He laughed. He said, look, Obo, if people don't pay for it, they won't use it. So now I make people pay. Even when I go to church, if I come to preach the gospel to you, Jesus said, freely you receive, freely give. But if you ask me to come and teach your people business, or talk to your men, talk to your couples and something like that, you pay me. You pay me. But I did this, well, not because you guys can pay me, because even what I'm telling you right now, that's what people pay me. If I mention the figure, some of you will faint. That's what people pay me. What I've told you now, that's what people pay me, whether in Botswana, or in Tanzania, or in Ghana, or in Sierra Leone, or here in Nigeria. What I just told you. But do you know that the impact is unlikely to be the same as the people that paid me 5 million, 10 million to hear what? That's a law. It's the way it is. That's why one of the things you can do for yourself when you leave here, stop looking for free things. Spend money on your mind. Invest in books, sell your television, and buy a library. You don't need a TV yet. I don't have a TV. But I'm going to go on, I go on TV, even though I don't have a TV. I go on TV because you are there, watching useless things. So the day that they stop showing useless things on television, and they start showing content that actually develop people, then I can stop. Another state government invited me to do something with them. I had a meeting with the government, to have a meeting with the government. So I went there a day before the appointment with the governor. Then what I did between 4 and 7 p.m. that day, I turned on the state television that was in the hotel room. I turned on the state television, and then I was logging all the programs and the duration, all the programs between 4 o'clock and 7. And you know what I was trying to prove? There's something that we call education versus entertainment ratio. One way to measure whether you're ever going to be rich in your life is that ratio. That ratio is important. If you have 1,000 naira, how much of it do you put into educating, building your mind, versus the one you put on your stomach and also to entertain people? You know, people want to show off. They want to look good. Not very far from here, a couple of days ago, I was fueling my tank in a filling station down there. I met this young girl. At that time in the afternoon, it's like, why are you not in school? Oh, my father died when I was very young, so I don't have money to go to school. And while I was there, somebody came with small exercise book. You know these people who carry small exercise book and go around to traders and to whatever. I don't know what they call them. And then she brought out 200 naira and gave the person recorded. What did they call them? What? Yeah, the daily savings kind of thing. So I was impressed. I said, oh, how often do you? She says, every day. I said, wow. And then my mind was still in the fact that she did, even though school these days are useless. That's a different conversation. Don't depend on school to make you anything. Because you finish this your school, you come out, you're so useless. People are still waiting 7 years, 8 years after they went to school. Graduated with certificates and they can't make meaning out of their lives. If I have time, I will tell you why you should go to school. Because a lot of school people are going to school for the wrong reason. They are going to school to come out, to carry certificate, to answer surveyor, engineer, doctor, professor. Useless professor, nothing inside his life. Sleeping with 16-year-old girls and 17-year-old prof, they call him prof, and all that. And you're sleeping, you can't hold yourself. By the way, your theme is money under control. Your money can never be under control when you can't even control yourself. How can money be under control? You can't control yourself and you're trying to control money. Money can't be under control until you yourself are under control. So you find people, they have big names, top people, honorable this and all that. They are pursuing little children in secondary school who are young enough to be their granddaughters. Is that wealth? And they call it money. And then he comes in, prof, in the village meeting, everybody, prof, and everybody's doing that. But the Bible says, an adulterer is a loaf of bread. He said a prostitute reduces a man to a loaf of bread. So there are so many loaves of bread. Prof, but there are loaves of bread, inside. And these are the kind of things that we admire so much in the society. And Jesus said, what is esteemed among men is an abomination for God. You're esteeming a man who is immoral, who doesn't have character, who cheats, who collects money from students to pass them. And you're esteeming, prof. Said, what is esteemed among men? All this nonsense that people do in the Southeast. And then they'll be calling you names. Ojiego. What are all these names? Ojiego, Omenego, Kanka, Ichie, and all that. Say, okay, we take 12 cartons of malt or something, give to this person. Then he enters his car. I'm loyal. What these stupid things that people, is poverty. So be very deliberate about the things you ingest, about the people you move with. Two poor people cannot help themselves. So the kind of people you move with, are they the kind of people who share these dreams and visions that you're talking about? Then spend money. Pay for things. Pay for your education. Even I, right now, there's no time I am without a coach, which is actually the other fundamental of money. My 82-year-old mentor told me that no man or woman can become rich except another person shows him or her. And that's why coaching, I pay so much for coaching. Coaching costs me more than anything. Right now, there's one I'm going through. I paid the man $10,000. You know what it is? In Naira. I had to cover $10,000 for a coaching program I'm currently doing right now. And I've paid $20,000 for coaching. And it shows. I'm standing before you. He told you a little bit about what I do. It shows. It shows. The Stanford Graduate School of Business can't just pick anybody to lecture alongside Stanford professors. It shows. And it had nothing to do with my so-called certificate. I read zoology. There's no connection between zoology and what I did. Even going to Shell, working in Shell and things like this. Personal development. Developing myself. Lots of reading. And then include till today, any day I do not read 2 hours, I feel like I'm falling sick. A minimum of 2 hours. Sometimes I take a private retreat and I go to Canaan land, because they have guest facilities there. And then it can be very, very quiet in the night. Extremely, very good, very quiet in the night. Electricity is 24 hours. So I go there sometimes for a week. And then in one day I could read 9 hours. I read and write. You build yourself, and it shows. Because the moment you open your mouth, people will know whether there's substance or not. And how will you deliver substance when there is no substance? inside you. So you've got to build it. Okay. So my point is, Ebonyi State, we can change this record. We can change that record. There's absolutely nothing stopping us. There's no reason we should be the third forest. God forbid. People like you. There's nothing stopping you. There's nothing stopping you. You know, the resources are there. We just just add resourcefulness to it, and then you create the wealth. All right. I guess by my time I have about 10 more minutes or something left. All right. So any questions? All right. So let's take. That's one. I can actually take all of them together. Okay, that's one. That's two. Any other? All right. That's three. Okay. First one is here. Okay. And then after that, our sister here.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, house. I'm by name Mr. Timothy Onwong. It's a privilege to be here, and though came a bit late, but I'm a lecturer somewhere, so I had to attend to the students this morning before coming. I just have one question that is bothering my mind. Each time I attend seminars like this, you discover that you are activated. Those of us that are spiritual, we say your spirit is activated to go and do something. You know, there is that new vibe, new energy to actually start something. But I discovered something. Some years back, when I was still in the north, in Plateau State to be precise, I started a lesson center to coach students, to prepare students for external exams. And we are doing well. The enthusiasm was there, the passion was there. But along the line, you discover so many factors, so many things that you didn't plan for in the line. For instance, as we are going, the owner of the facility that we were using then died. He was the registrar of University of Jos. And the wife just said to me that she wants to convert the facility to a poultry, that we should move. And so it became difficult. So my point is, how do we, it's not just about starting something. It's not just about, going out there to begin something. How do we surmount most of these unforeseen challenges, especially bearing in mind the peculiar nature of the Nigerian business environment?
All right, thank you so much, sir. Good morning, everyone. I'm Benibo Messi by name. I want to start by saying a very big thank you for the lecture. I've truly been blessed. Now, I have two questions. It's not so much big, anyways. Now, my first question is, how did you actually discipline yourself to study at least 2 hours a day? Like, the journey, how you disciplined yourself. And the second question is, I want to act like your son. Then meet me too. You said something, you asked us a question, a rhetorical question. And you said, what is that big problem that if I can solve it for you, you can actually gift me $1 million as an appreciation? So I'm throwing the question back to you, sir. What's that big question? Thank you.
Okay, my name is Ernest. Just like I've spoken some time ago here. So your lectures are wonderful and I really enjoyed it. But then, just like you said, money is an effort, not a cost. So actually, to some level, you create this value, which is the cost. Then you need the trust. Now, a lot of programs go on virtually. So you pay for these programs. You just get to talk with the mentor one-on-one, but you don't connect with other people for you to create this trust. Because I believe trust is a network effect. And then for you to sell this value you've created, you need this trust and this network. But then most of the things we do these days are virtual. How do you create this physical connection without actually spending a lot of time and a lot of energy and other things that is available?
Okay, so actually similar to the first question that Timothy asked. Okay. So two simple comments to that question. One is you have to create a very, very strong why. Why? So why you do the things you do. Okay? So there must be a very strong why. Why do I do what I'm doing? It is that why that's going to carry you through the uncertain circumstances. Because they must come. They must come. There are times like this. But it is a strong why that will set you going. The scripture said that Jesus, because of the joy that was set before him, what did he do? He endured the cross. The cross was horrible. I don't know how many of us have watched Mel Gibson's Passion of the Christ. Even that was compared to what Jesus went through. Power around him. I don't think that the Romans were that gracious. He was stark naked. It was called shame. He said, despising the shame. Jesus was naked. There was nothing. So people who could do that to him would be generous enough to put something around him. So it was shameful. It was called shame. And it was called a curse. He said, cursed be anyone who hangs on a tree. But then while he was doing that, there's a song that we used to sing in those days, all the way to Calvary. He went for me. Some people say he wept. He went all the way. He went. And then, why did he go all the way? So that because he had me in mind. He had me in mind. He had in mind these great people that were going to come thousands of years after. And then Isaiah 53 says, he shall see the travail of his soul and will be satisfied. So always having a very strong why you are doing the thing you are doing. Don't even do anything until you define why you are doing it. That's what's going to make you wake up. You don't need anybody to motivate you. Your motivation won't even come from outside. After I left Shell and started the business and the whole thing collapsed, and then I lost the family savings. I lost $100,000 of that time. Even today, $100,000 is still a lot of money because I put it in Nospetco, well zoned. And then that money disappeared till today. So, and then the business failed. Then the stock market failed at the same time. That was like 2008. So, everything just went south. Things became really difficult. So, I remember, I usually like telling the story when my wife is there. Incidentally, she's not here today because I like laughing at her when I tell the story. We used to buy water, this dispenser. At that time, it was 300 naira. This is that's what we're drinking because this was Shell House. We didn't drink water that ordinary people were drinking. So we used to buy that. Then after my business failed and after I lost this money, things became so difficult that to buy that water for the house became difficult. We used to finish that water like 2 or 3 days. Couldn't afford it. It was difficult. And then I stopped. I couldn't pay school fees anymore. So there were times that the children were made to stay home because I couldn't pay the school fees. Things were really bad. So one day when we were going through that, I was driving into the estate where we lived at the time. And then I noticed for this first, I've been hearing, before this time, I had been hearing about this thing called pure water. And I've been seeing mere mortals, carrying this thing around them. And each time I saw them, I'm like, why in the world would a human being be drinking that kind of a thing? It was not hygienically prepared. There's no way people, you don't even know what they're preparing this for. You don't know what is inside and things like that. I used to. But all of a sudden, I noticed pure water. I parked the car by the gate and went and asked this people, okay, this thing, how much is a bag? When they told me, I found that what we used to buy one dispenser can buy us pure water for the whole month and even into the next month. So when I got to him, I said, sweetheart, it's like we start buying pure water. She said, me, pure water? I've never drunk pure water since I was little. I wouldn't drink pure water. I said, you will drink. Otherwise, anyway, that's how your brother started drinking. We started buying pure water. So I can announce that today she drinks pure water. We have some in the house now where we live. So things were like that. So one of those days, usually, and I still do that, I bless my children every night before I sleep. I still do. They are grown up in different places, but I still speak words over them. So before I go to bed, and also over my wife, because I'm the high priest of the house. So, and then there were young children, and then many of you know how cute children look when they are asleep. Anybody know what I'm saying? So cute. Cherubs, angels. It's a different thing when they wake up. And especially if you have 3 boys, like we do. One will be jumping here, the other will be jumping here, the other one will, and all that. But when they are asleep, such cute little angels. And especially the first one that, you used to say, you just see him sleeping and sucking his finger. Lovely, everything. So when I was standing over them, tears started coming to my eyes because I was struggling to pay their fees. I was struggling to feed them. I was struggling and all that. So while I stood over them, I called them by names and I said, Deacon Chimfeka Chiro, whatever it takes. I said, I'm your father. I said, whatever it takes. That was all I said, 3 words. Whatever it takes. And then you see, the mission and the vision of my mind was whatever it would take to anchor these children to be successful in life. I brought them there. And I can't, because of my own mistakes, just give up. So those 3 words carried me through those very difficult times. Because each time I imagined the future of my children that I wanted, it was that whatever it takes that made me sell coffee from the boot of my car. I'll be driving around, I'll be carrying coffee. And I was selling coffee. It was that whatever it takes that made me sell fruit juices, orange juice. I was making fruit juice, orange, pineapple, and I would stay by the side of the road at Opera Square and be selling fruit juice. This was ex-shell staff and a postgraduate. I would be dancing. I'll put on music. I'll be dancing, especially when those people in Opera Square are there, doing sports. I'll be dancing and then be selling tiger nut milk and all that. I'll be telling them, come and buy, and things like dancing. Now, I was not dancing because I like to dance by the side of the road selling that. But I was dancing because of what the joy set before me. I was dancing because of the children. As I was doing all that dancing, and of course, some people will come and they will look at you and they say, there's the way some of these young women, just look at, this old man fooling around, by the side of the road and things like that. I wasn't seeing them. I was seeing my children. So that's really where you want to get yourself to, so that you don't need anybody to make you sustain. So if the why is strong enough, it will help you go through anything at all that you want to. And then as to your question, your first question was around, remind me what it was. The discipline. Okay, so I've just told you. I think I also partly answered that. So many times what drives discipline is where you are going. It's exactly the same reason that has also helped me against temptations, especially sexual temptations. And I tell this story, usually it's not because I see myself as more righteous than anybody, but I'm 56. I got married on my 30th birthday, and I never knew what the body of a girl was until the night of my marriage. I didn't know what the body of a woman was. And even though I studied zoology, I thought I actually knew until that wedding night. I was mumu, she was mumu. We didn't even know, what on the wedding night. Now, I'm married for going to 27 years. 2nd December of this year, we make it 27 years. I have had temptations everywhere I have gone, whether it's in the Netherlands or in the US or in Italy. And these are terrible places. Italy, red light districts, Netherlands, red light districts all over the place. I've been tempted in Ghana, everywhere. I still am tempted. See, when you are also a good-looking person with some little bit of money too, you attract women. So I've been tempted. Now, it's not that I don't want to do that thing. It's not that I don't want to do it. I've had 2 women come to me and say, but we're not asking for money. We're not looking for your money. We just want your body. Plain like that. wanted, everything in me was crying, for it. I wanted it. But why I haven't done it is not because, and I'm not saying I haven't failed in other areas or that it's by my righteousness, because you and I know that we are not members, citizens of the kingdom of God because of our righteousness. Ephesians 2:8-9 says it very clearly that by grace are we saved through faith, not of ourselves, so that no man will boast. So I'm definitely not boasting. But I'm saying that there's a reason, if you have a why strong enough, it will keep you, because you know that it's just doing this one thing. Because I even discuss it with my children and my wife. I say, I imagine if something like that happens today, and because I'm very, very public, and I'm very, very visible, I just imagine the headlines, business coach, Christian something, whatever, caught it. So I imagine that kind of thing. And I imagine what it would do to my children everywhere they are going. And then they say, oh, it's his father that did that. So I do that, and I have the grace of God to keep myself disciplined because of where I'm going. Because I tell myself, if I fail there, I'll fail in other things. So now, if you ask me the second question, what is worth $1 million that I will do for you right now is that I have, and I'm seriously, I'll do that for you right now. And in my own case, I have ₦1 million to give. So I have offers. Things I do for businesses. Okay, like I have a coaching package for businesses that go for $15,000. So if you get me, even if it's five businesses right now who will go through this coaching, this transformation program, my goodness, even before we do it, I'm going to give for each of them, I can actually give you ₦1 million for each of them. So there are things like that exist, and they are real. Like what I'm doing, people are telling me things that if I do for them, they'll give me what. So I'm compiling them, because it's from there. I actually want to select one and do it publicly and solve that problem. Because one secret to solving any problem, Luke chapter 1 verse 37, one secret to solving any problem in our lives is many things that look impossible in the third dimension, they're a piece of cake in the fourth dimension. Oh, I don't know. I don't have time to unpack that, but just think about it. Many things that look impossible, everything that looks impossible in this third dimension, we live in a third dimensional world. What we feel, see, and touch. In this world, it's impossible for a virgin to give birth. And that's why non-believers say, oh no, it didn't happen. But God is not in this dimension. He's multi-dimensional. That's why I say with God, nothing, absolutely nothing, because beyond this dimension, my God, it's a piece of cake for a virgin to give birth. Because beyond this dimension, the things you can do, that's why Paul says, for we do not walk in this dimension. We do not walk by sight. We walk by faith. Transcends you from this dimension to the other one. So the only challenge that many people who read the Bible have, they don't know how to make it actionable. So they have all the nice scriptures, they quote it. Oh, no evil shall come by my whatever. 1,000 shall fall by my right hand, and then whatever. No plague shall come near my dwelling. And then COVID happens. And then the first people who start panicking are Christians, people who carry Bible. But they will still go and say, no plague shall come near my whatever. But they are the very first people who panicked. So the best place to find the information. Okay. So if you connect with me on Instagram, today, so I'm at Obo Awoke, OGBO, Awoke is AWOKE,